Alright, good afternoon, Arkansas. This is Assistant Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again. I'm here to give you guys a video blog regarding next week here. So, a couple of things I want to talk about. First and foremost, I'm feeling 100% perfect. I'm good to go. I know the last time we had a winter weather event, I was feeling pretty sick, but I am ready to go 100% back into the action here, folks. And there's been a lot of chatter on social media about next week, next Wednesday, next Thursday time frame here about the potential of winter weather here in Arkansas. Okay, a couple things I want to know. All right, before we get started, I'm gonna borrow about 2 minutes of your time. So when you see this video, don't just up and leave. Stay with the video. There's gonna be a lot of information thrown at you, but I want to talk to you guys a bit about the winter weather and social media. They go hand in hand. Okay, I have seen a lot of hype posts, hype photos, hype videos. You gotta be very careful with that share button, guys. Okay, us here in Arkansas Weather Watchers, we won't post a thing unless we are confident that it's gonna happen. Okay, or there's a good chance of it happening, or at least a potential, like a blog here. A blog to talk about next week. Okay, you're not gonna see the intention sinking maps. You're not gonna see the end of the world scenarios or anything like that, folks. Okay, you're not gonna see that unless there's a 100% guarantee that's going to happen. Okay, so that's our policy here at Arkansas Weather Watchers. I tell my forecasters that all the time. The power of graphics and the power of that share button is incredible. With great power comes great responsibility. I'm just going to say this. Use us, Zachary Hall, Paul the Weather Guru, National Weather Service in Little Rock. Use those sources. Okay? Use those sources. Dan Scuff up there in Northwest Arkansas, great guy too. Okay, Ryan Vaughn, Northeast Arkansas, great guy. All right, use those sources. Okay, I cannot stress enough. Use those sources. If you feel like it needs to be questioned, send it to us, and we will gladly explain it or how it's true or how it's not true. Okay. If you see like a mega storm for next week or something like that, where it says like a foot of snow here in Arkansas and stuff like that, folks, that's hype. Okay, we're a week away. I know what happened last February. I know what happened. I know what the big winter storm. I know what the big Arctic blast that's coming our way. Not every February is going to be like that. Okay, typically speaking, this is when we get on winter weather, but not every February is going to be like it was in 2021. That was a dream scenario that happened. It's done. It's in the history books for a reason. Okay, every system is different. All right, so I'm taking your time. Thank you for hearing me out. As I said before, if you have any questions, please feel free to inbox us. Okay, I just want to get that out there because there's been a lot of it out there, and we don't want anyone panicking or just piling up the grocery stores. I cannot tell you how many grocery store workers I've talked to over the last couple of days or the last week or so about people coming in because they've seen a post on Facebook and stuff like that that wasn't from us or wasn't from someone we know. So please use caution before you use that share button. Okay, please be careful. If it doesn't come from us or the people I've mentioned before, don't trust it. Okay, or at least question it before you trust it. So that being said, let's talk about GFS, let's talk about the Euro, let's talk about the Canadian model. Okay, next week is likely going to be an active week here in Arkansas. Alright, there's a potential of winter weather, there's a potential of flooding, there's a potential of severe weather as well, which is being ignored right now for some odd reason. You don't want to ignore severe weather. Okay, severe weather should never be ignored in any type of situation, even if there's winter weather on the other side. Alright, because you have to think about what severe weather can do. It's a threat to life and property. So you don't ever want to ignore severe weather just because the winter weather is on the other side. Alright, so let's talk about the GFS first. Then we're going to use the Euro, and then we're going to use the Canadian model. Alright, the GFS does this. Alright, so there's your trough. You're looking at your trough for this weekend. Temperature is going to be a lot colder this weekend because you're going to front that's going to come through on Friday. Alright, now let's take this out a little bit. Okay, you can see the rain starting to develop down there in southern Arkansas, Louisiana, East Texas, late Monday night, early Tuesday. But this is your system. This is the troublemaker that will head our way as we get towards that Wednesday and Thursday time frame. So this weekend, All eyes are going to go to that system. That means satellite, that means real-time data. All your attention this weekend is going to go to that system. All right, and what it does as we get towards Build Party next week. All right, I cannot rule out, and Storm Prediction Center's been talking about this as well, the potential of a day 6 or a day 7 severe risk from central and east Texas to the lower Mississippi Valley. That's central South Arkansas, North Louisiana, into Mississippi. Okay, keep that in mind. Do not ignore the severe threat just because there's winter weather potential with this. All right, let me repeat that. Do not ignore the severe threat just because there's winter weather. Okay, making that perfectly clear. It's not that we're ignoring the winter weather or we want severe weather. We want people to be aware of both, not just one side. Because if you go one side and you forget about the other and something happens, then you know from there. So this is the GFS December 4. There's your area low pressure. Okay, right along the Red River Valley. The GFS doesn't agree with the winter weather. I'm going to show you why. Okay, heavy rain, severe weather across east Oklahoma, Texas, coming into Arkansas as we get towards first thing Wednesday here. It sends a nasty, nasty squall line through Arkansas. There's a lot of wind shear with this system, and I can show you that graphically real quickly. So this is your 500 millibar. This is your 500 millibar trough coming in. Your upper level lows here. Okay, there's your troughing coming in with this system. There's your 900 millibar winds. You can really see, I'm going to back this up a little bit. You can really see the wind field across Arkansas. So there's your system here, 1,000 millibar low. Very, very good directional shear. And as you're saying, where's the instability? Okay, the instability is low. Okay, with the GFS, but GFS is notorious for low instability. All right, so this would be a damaging wind, low wind tornado threat with this as we get towards late Wednesday and into Thursday. But notice something with the GFS. Okay, this is what the GFS does. This is the 12Z. You can see your low pressures here in Mississippi. There's your rain behind it. Okay, powerhouse low in southern Illinois into eastern and northeastern Missouri, along the Mississippi River. Okay, so what the 12Z GFS is attempting to do is attempting to change the rain over to snow at the very end when your cold air is coming in behind this system. However, your winter storm goes to Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, and Iowa, and into Illinois. Okay, we have a little bit of a shot here in Arkansas, but nothing major, and then it's out of here. And then much colder air comes in behind it. Okay, that's another thing. The cold air behind this system is not going to want to be played with either. There's an Arctic blast coming in behind this system. So this is a very dynamic, powerful system here. If you go with the GFS, 1029 millibar low, 1029 millibar high, coming down from the plains, bringing in that cold air, but no winter weather here in Arkansas. Just heavy rain and severe weather potential. Okay, that's why we're telling you guys now, don't just buy the Euro. The GFS has its word in it as well. Okay, here's the European model. All right, I'm gonna take the Euro out, and we're gonna talk about it for a bit. Okay, so here's the Euro. All right, there's your system here. So pay attention to western Texas, central Texas as well. Moisture's increasing. Cold air is coming in as well. Warm air. So the battle of cold and warm air means the potential of severe weather across our neck of the woods here. And you can see on Wednesday. All right, this is what the European model does. Let's go to your thunderstorms, where the thunderstorms are at. All right, southern Arkansas, southwest Arkansas, North Louisiana, East Texas. That's the area I'm getting very worried about the potential of seeing severe weather as we get towards that that Wednesday and Wednesday afternoon time frame here. Okay, and you can see really does show us a lot of thunderstorm activity in this area. Now, the European model is your best friend if you want winter weather here in Arkansas, because what it does, it has the upper level low, which I'm going to show you real quickly. Okay, let's go down here to your 500 millibar real fast, and let's show you where the upper level low is. Okay, so your upper level low hangs back out here instead of ejecting quickly. So your upper level low is back here, your lows here, your cold air is fighting your warm air. You have a battle between cold air and warm air, which is never a good situation here in Arkansas. Southwest flow, incoming cold air, always means ice. I'm very worried that somebody may get into an ice situation with this setup as well, if you go with the European model. Okay, so Cold air coming in, warm air, southwest flow. That means you have a warm air layer. You got cold air at the surface. So that's what's melting the snow, and it's freezing on contact. That's where you get freezing rain and sleet. Okay, so your low, first of all, your low is well to the south. Okay, it's no longer here in northeastern Texas here. Okay, it goes to northeast Texas, then it dips down into Louisiana, because what happens is your Arctic ridge to the northwest winds out against the southeast ridge. So it kicks the low down into the Gulf Coast, and it brings the winter weather here into Arkansas. Okay, that's round number 1. 1,001 millibar low up here in western Tennessee, northeast Arkansas, the Boot Hill region of Missouri. Heavy freezing rain, could be some thunder with this as well. Sleet going over the snow. A real mess across central, northern, and western and northwestern Arkansas. Alright? And then what happens is you get a temporary break because the first system gets out of here. Remember the upper level low. The upper level low has to come through as well. Alright? Your upper level low is back out here towards Texas. Remember, southwest flow. You still got moisture coming in. So what happens is your cold air is moving into Arkansas. Moisture still coming in from the southwest. Look what happens with the next frame. You've got snow into Arkansas by this point. And this would be during the day on Thursday. Okay? So you can see snow across the area throughout the day on Thursday. You go from severe weather to ice to winter weather if you go with the Euro, and then it's out of here. Okay? So by Friday morning, if you were to go with the Euro, we're done. But we are probably in shutdown mode because we've had a lot of freezing rain, a lot of snow across the area, and you can see what it does. Okay, a good 2 to 3 inches of snow, higher totals in northwest Arkansas, but that's not what I'm concerned about. You got 2 to 3 inches of snow on top of this. This is freezing rain. Okay, so some areas near 1/10 of an inch of ice, possibly as high as 1/4 of an inch of ice, which is devastating. You don't want that kind of ice here in Arkansas because it can lead to power outages and stuff like that. Really, really hazardous weather conditions for the roads. So you don't want this, okay? And then you have sleet totals as well. And this is your sleet, generally 1/2 inch to 1 inch of sleet across the area. So that's 2 to 3 inches of snow on top of 1/4 of an ice of freezing rain, on top of 1/2 inch of sleet. That will be very, very hazardous across the area. And then on top of this, not only that, but you have cold air moving down as well. If you go with Euro, which I don't buy right now, northwest Arkansas in the negatives, okay? I buy the cold air. I buy the cold air coming in behind this system. What I don't buy right now is that monster winter storm because it's just a Euro. And I think Canadian model is the same way. However, until the GFS decides to cave, right now the winter weather side is 40%. The severe side is 60% because all guidance has the severe. Not all guidance has the winter weather. But I am growing increasingly concerned about the winter weather potential with this. Okay, so there's the Euro. The last model we'll show you before I hop off of here is the Canadian. Okay, so remember, the low is going to start pivoting down late this weekend or early part of next week here. Okay, so you can see what it does. All right, if you go with the Canadian model here. Okay, so your low is way down here in southern Texas. 1039 millibar high coming down. Moisture, cold air meeting warm air. You've got the rainfall here in Arkansas. It doesn't really do too much in the way of severe weather here. Okay, but you can see what it does. It develops, it condensates the low down here in southern Texas, and then it moves it northeast. The Canadian model is a true ice storm here in Arkansas. That is an ice storm waiting to happen. Low pressure develops in southern Texas, takes the southwest flow, cold air aloft, cold air at the surface. That is a devastating setup for ice. You don't want ice. You do not want ice with this setup. It is notorious for producing ice because you've got incoming Arctic air and you have very warm Gulf of Mexico air coming in at the same time. Okay, so that is the setup with the Canadian model. And then here's what happens. You go from heavy freezing rain, by the way. This is heavy freezing rain coming in with the Canadian model. Low completely misses Arkansas, so you throw severe weather out. at this point. It'll just be a heavy rain threat. Okay, the severe threat goes to Dixie. The Dixie area, that's Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, those areas over there in the southeast. Okay, so your freezing rain is across central, northern, and northeast Arkansas. That is a crippling ice storm for northeastern Arkansas if you go with the Canadian model. Alright, and then what happens is as the colder air aloft comes in, changes you over from freezing rain to sleet to all snow, and then you're done by the time we get to Friday afternoon with some lingering flurries hanging around. Let's talk about potential amounts if you were to go with the Canadian model, okay? The snow totals, greater to the north and west because your colder air is deeper up there towards Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, Missouri, up into Illinois, okay? Another reason why I'm saying the cold air behind this is going to be ridiculous, alright? But that's not what I'm worried about, okay? Here's your sleet totals, okay? So generally half an inch, in some cases as high as 2 inches of sleet. This is the freezing rain. That is almost a half an inch of freezing rain here in Little Rock. That would shut Little Rock down, okay? And almost an inch of ice up here in northeast Arkansas. That is a crippling ice storm up there in northeast Arkansas. Majority of the area near, I would say, a quarter to greater amounts of freezing rain across much of northern, central, western, eastern Arkansas, particularly northeastern Arkansas. Southern Arkansas, you kind of take the back seat with this, but you do deal with some sleet and a little bit of snow if you were to go with Canadian model. So overall, severe weather, 60%, winter weather, 40% right now. It is a wait-and-see battle between which one works out. The track of the low will be very key on what happens as we get towards the middle part of next week. Continue to follow us right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.